Good evening. It is January 22nd, and this is where the story of Joseph and Jacob get, I guess, really good over the course of today and probably the next probably day or two. I want to start doing something, and you know what? I didn't do this last night. We're supposed to be doing the Lord's Prayer every night, and I don't think I did it last night. So let's do the Lord's Prayer, and then we will. Let me get some of my stuff out of the way here, and then we will do a little recap. So, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Y'all got to call me out on that. I totally forgot to do the Lord's Prayer last night. So I wanted to recap on something I read, and it was Matthew. Where are we at? Matthew 13. So I've been Matthew 14:54. Let me do it with my glasses. Sucks getting old. Matthew 14:58. But Jesus said, a prophet is taken for granted in his hometown and his family. He didn't do many miracles there because of their hostile indifference. That one kind of hit home last night. So tonight I'm going to read from Genesis 44:1 through 45:28, and it's the story of Joseph. Matthew 14 through 13:36, and Psalms 18:31 through 50, and Proverbs 4:10 through 15. So let's get started. So January 22nd, Genesis 44:1 through 45:28. Joseph ordered his house steward, fill the men's bags with food, all they can carry, and replace each one's money at the top of the bag. They put my silver chalice, in the top of the bag of the youngest, along with the money for the food. He did as Joseph ordered. Now remember, Joseph did this the first time they were there and put all their money back in the sacks. Now he put his silver chalice in there, his drinking cup. At daybreak, the men were set off with their donkeys. They were barely out of the city when Joseph said to his house steward, run after them. When you catch up with them, say, why did you pay me back evil for good? This is a chalice my master drinks from. He also used it for divination. This is outrageous. I'm going to have to look that word up. He caught up with them and repeated all of this word for word. They said, what is my master talking about? Why we would never do anything like that? Why the money we found in our bags earlier we brought back all the way from Canaan? Do you think we'd turn right around and steal it back from you and your master? If that chalice is found on any of us, he'll die, and the rest of us will be your master's slaves. The steward said, very well then, but we won't go that far. Whoever is found with the chalice will be my slave, and the rest of you can go free. They outdid each other in putting their bags on the ground and opened them up for inspection. The steward searched their bags, going from the oldest to the youngest. The chalice showed up in Benjamin's bag, who was the youngest brother. They ripped their clothes in despair, loaded up their donkeys, and went back to the city. Joseph was still at home when Judah and his brothers got back. They threw themselves down on the ground in front of him. Joseph accused them. How can you have done this? You have known that a man in my position would have discovered this. Judah, a spokesman for the brothers, said, what can we say, master? What is there to say? How can we prove our innocence? God is behind this, exposing how bad we are. We stand guilty before you and ready to be your slaves. We're all in this together. The rest of us are guilty as the one with the chalice. I'd never do that to you, said Joseph. Only the one involved with the chalice will be my slave. The rest of you are free to go back to your father. Judah came forward. He said, please, master, can I say just one thing to you? Don't get angry. Don't think I'm presumptuous. You're the same as Pharaoh as far as I'm concerned. You, master, asked us, do you have a father and a brother? And we answered honestly, we have a father who is old and a younger brother who was born to him in his old age. His brother is dead, and he is the one son left from that mother, and his father loves him more than anything. Then you told us, bring him down here so I can see him. We told you, master, that is impossible. The boy cannot leave his father. If he leaves, his father will die. And then you said, if your youngest brother doesn't come with you, you won't be allowed to see me. When we returned to our father, we told him everything you said. So when our father said, go back and buy some food, we told him flatly, we can't. The only way we can go back is if our youngest brother is with us. We aren't allowed to even see the man if our youngest brother doesn't come with us. Your servant, my father, told us, you know very well that my wife gave me two sons. One turned up missing. I concluded that I'd been ripped to pieces. I've never seen him since. If you now go and take this one and something has happened to him, you'll put my old gray grieving head in the grave for sure. And now can't you see that if I show up before the servant, my father without the boy, this son with whom his life is so bound up, the moment he realized the boy is gone, he'll die on the spot. He'll die of grief, and we, our servants, are standing there here before you. We'll have killed him, and that's not all. I got my father to release the boy to show him to you by promising, if I don't bring him back, I'll stand condemned before you, Father, all my life. So let me stay here as your slave, not the boy. Let the boy go back with his brothers. How can I go back to my father if the boy is not with me? Oh, don't make me go back and watch my father die in grief. Joseph couldn't hold himself in any longer. Keeping up a front before all his attendants, he cried out, leave, clear out, everyone leave. So there was no one with Joseph when he identified himself to his brothers. But his sobbing was so violent that the Egyptians couldn't help but hear him. The news was soon reported to Pharaoh's palace. Joseph spoke to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father really alive? But his brothers couldn't say a word. They were speechless. Speechless. They couldn't believe what they were hearing and seeing. Come closer to me, Joseph said to his brothers. They came closer. I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. But don't feel badly. Don't blame yourselves for selling me. God was behind it. God sent me here ahead of you to save lives. There have been a there has been a famine in the land now for 2 years, and the famine will continue for 5 more years. Neither plowing nor harvest. God sent me on ahead to pave the way and make sure there was a remnant in the land. To save your lives is an amazing act of deliverance. So you see, it wasn't you who sent me here, but God. He set me in a place as my father to Pharaoh, put me in charge of his personal affairs, and made me ruler of all of Egypt. Hurry back to my father. Tell him your son Joseph says, I'm master of all of Egypt. Come as fast as you can and join me here. I'll give you a place to live in Goshen, where you'll be close to me. You and your children, your grandchildren, your flocks, your herds, and anything else you can think of. I'll take care of you here completely. There are still 5 more years of famine ahead. I'll make sure all your needs are taken care of. You and everyone connected with you. You won't want you won't want for a thing. Look at me. You can see for yourselves, and my brother Benjamin can see for himself that it's me, my own mouth, telling you all of this. Tell my father all about the high position I hold in Egypt. Tell him everything you've seen, but don't take all day. Hurry up and get my father down here. Then Joseph threw himself on his brother's Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck. He then kissed all his brothers and wept over them. Only then were his brothers able to talk with him. The story was reported to Pharaoh's palace. Joseph's brothers have come. It was good news to Pharaoh and all who worked with him. Pharaoh said to Joseph, tell your brothers this is the plan. Load up your pack animals, go to Canaan, get your father and your families, and bring them back here. I'll settle you on the best land in Egypt. You'll live off the fat of the land. Also tell them this. Here's what I want you to do. Take a wagon from Egypt to carry your little ones and your wives, and load up your father and come back. Don't worry about having to leave things behind. The best in all of Egypt will be yours. And they did just that. The sons of Israel. Joseph gave them the wagons that Pharaoh had promised and food for the trip. He outfitted all the brothers in brand new clothes, and he gave Benjamin 300 pieces of silver and several suits of clothes. He sent his father 3 gifts: 10 donkeys loaded with Egypt's best products, and another 10 donkeys loaded with grain and bread, provisions for his father's journey back. Then he sent his brothers off. As they left, he told them, take it easy on your journey. Try to get along with each other. They left Egypt and went back to their father Jacob in Canaan. When they told him Joseph is still alive and he's the ruler of the whole land of Egypt, he went numb. He couldn't believe his ears. But the more they talked, telling him everything that Joseph had told them, and when he saw the wagons that Joseph had sent to carry him back, the blood started to flow again. Their father Jacob's spirit revived. Israel said, I've heard enough. My son Joseph is still alive. I've got to go and see him before I die. Wow. I think that's kind of where the story ends. But, I was thinking about this. Why did Joseph give him 5 donkeys with all the products and then 10 donkeys with all the other stuff on it? Think if the brothers would have went back and told Jacob what had happened without all the donkeys, with all the goods in it. He probably wouldn't have believed it and thought it was a lie. So it's really kind of crazy how God used the brothers to sell Joseph into the Egyptians, and how Joseph saved all of Egypt for the famine. It's crazy, isn't it? How God uses us sometimes. I guess we need to be a little more aware of that and know that when we're in this bad spot, it's to, I guess, prevent us down the road from where we really need to be going, I guess. So the breakdown of Genesis 44:1 through 45:28. This is the moment the truth collides with grace. Joseph tests his brothers, not to punish them, but to see if they've changed. Judah steps up, owning responsibility instead of running from it. That's repentance in action. Then Joseph reveals himself, and instead of revenge, he releases forgiveness. A big lesson. What others meant for harm, God was positioning for preservation. When God heals you, he often sends you back to restore others. Wow, that's good. Okay, Matthew 14 through 14. Okay, Matthew 14, 13 through 36. When Jesus got the news, he slipped away by boat to an out of the way place by himself. But unsuccessfully, someone saw him, and the word got around. Soon a lot of people from the nearby villages walked around the lake to where he was. When he saw them coming, he was overcome with pity and healed the sick. Toward evening, the disciples approached him. We're out in the country and it's getting late. Dismiss the people so they can go to the villages and get some supper. But Jesus said, there's no need to dismiss them. You gave them supper. All we have are 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, they said. Jesus said, bring them here. Then he had the people sit on the grass. He took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, lifted his face to heaven in prayer, blessed, broke, and gave the bread to the disciples. The disciples then gave the food to the congregation. They all ate their fill. They gathered 12 baskets of leftovers, and 5,000 people were fed. Did you hear me? What was it? 5 loaves and 2 fish, and over 5,000 people were fed. That's an awfully big piece of bread, ain't it? It's amazing how God works. As soon as the meal was finished, he insisted that the disciples get in the boat and go ahead to the other side while he dismissed the people. While the crowd dispersed, he climbed the mountain so he could be by himself and pray. He stayed there alone late into the night. Meanwhile, the boat was far out to sea, and the wind came up against them, and they were battered by the waves. At 4 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came toward them walking on water. They were scared to death. A ghost, they said, crying out in terror. But Jesus was quick to comfort them. Courage, it's me. Don't be afraid. Peter, suddenly bold, said, Master, if it is you, call me to come to you on the water. He said, come ahead. Jumping out of the boat, Peter walked on water with Jesus. But when he looked down and the waves turning beneath his feet, he lost his nerve and started to sink. He cried, Master, save me. Jesus didn't hesitate. He reached down and grabbed his hand. Then he said, faint heart, what got into you? The two of them climbed into the boat, and the wind died down. The disciples in the boat, having watched this whole thing, worshiped Jesus, saying, this is it. You are God's son for sure. On return, they beached the boat at Gennesaret. When the people got wind that he was back, they sent out word through the neighborhood and rounded up all the sick who asked for permission to touch the edge of his coat. And whoever touched him was healed. So if you think about it, there's only been 2 people that ever walked on water, Jesus and Peter. Crazy. The breakdown of Matthew 14, 13 through 36, this is Jesus is tired, grieving, and still chooses compassion. He feeds 5,000 with what seems insufficient, then sends the disciples into a storm alone. Why? Because growth happens when Jesus isn't in the boat, but he's still in control. When he walks on water, he proves this. Storms don't negate his presence, and when he steps in, chaos submits. Yeah, I'm going to read that again. Mm, 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 mm. He sends the disciples into the storm alone. Why? Because growth happens when Jesus isn't in the boat, but still in control. When he walks on water, he proves this. Storms don't negate his presence, and when he steps in, chaos submits. It's good stuff. Psalms 18:31 through 50. And is there any God like God? Are we not at bedrock? It's not time. It's not this that God who armed me. Lord, a little tongue tied again tonight. Is not this the God who armed me, then aimed me in the right direction? Now I run like a deer. I'm kind of the mountain. He shows me how to fight. I can bend a bronze bowl. You protect me in the salvation armor. You hold me up with a firm hand. Caress me with your gentle ways. You cleared the ground under me, so my footing was firm. When I chased my enemies, I caught them. I didn't let them go until they were dead men. I nailed them. They were down for good. Then I walked all over them. You armed me well for this fight. You smashed the upstairs. You made my enemies turn tail, and I wiped out the haters. They cried, Uncle, but Uncle didn't come. They yelled for God and got no far for they yelled for God and got no for an answer. I ground them into dust. They gusted into the wind. I threw them out like garbage in the gutter. You rescued me from a squabbling people. You made me a leader of nations. People I'd never heard of me of serve. Good Lord. You rescued me from a squabbling people. You made me a leader of nations. People I'd never heard of served me. The moment they got wind of me, they listened. The foreign devils gave up. They came on their bellies crawling from their hideouts. Live, God, blessings from my rock, my free and freeing God, towering. This God set things right for me. This has been a rough night, y'all. I'm really not sleepy. This God got things right for me and shut up the people who talked back. He rescued me from my enemy anger. He pulled me from the grip of upstarts. He gave me He saved me from the bullies. That's why I'm thanking you, God, all over the world. That's why I'm singing songs that rhyme your name. God's king takes the trophy. God's chosen is beloved. I mean, David and all his children always. Lord, I need a recap on that one. Psalms 18:31 through 50. See, and I guess that's why sometimes I see why I made it to May. I'm not using that as an excuse for last year. You get so tongue tied in some of this stuff, sometimes you get frustrated. So I have to be patient with myself, and I give patience with you and patience with me. So the breakdown of Psalms 18:31 through 50 says, David declares something bold. God doesn't just save, he strengthens. God trains his hand for battle and gives him victory he couldn't earn alone. This is praise for someone who's been in caves, chased, and tested. The translation is God is not just your refuge, he's your force multiplier. Lastly, we got Proverbs 4:10 through 15. Dear friend, take my advice. It will add years to your life. I'm writing out clear directions to wisdom way. I'm drawing a map to righteousness road. Don't want you ending up in blind alleys or wasting time making wrong turns. Hold tight to good advice. Don't relax your grip. Guard it well. Your life is at stake. Don't take wicked bypass. Don't so much as set foot on that road. Stay clear of it. Give it a wide berth. Make a detour and be on your way. The breakdown of Proverbs 4:10 through 15 says, Wisdom here is a warning. Don't even walk near the path of the wicked, not because you're weak, but because influence is real. Direction determines destination. Avoidance isn't fear, it's discipline. I want to throw something at you real quick, and it was wisdom here is a warning. Don't even walk near the path of the wicked. There's some things that have kind of come to my attention with individuals and people that I'm around. And when I think of the things and you can kind of feel their energies and it's not in it from a good place, those are people that I just don't want to be around because it says, don't walk near the path of the wicked, not because you're weak, but because the influence is real. Something I talk about is the 5 people you hang around the most is who you're going to become. So be conscious of that. Be conscious of your 5. Directions determines destination. Avoidance isn't fear, it's discipline. All right, that's all I got. I will see you tomorrow. It will be January 23rd, and this whole month's flying by. So I love you. Have a better than good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.